won't believe this, but I have been in China now officially for 10 years. Crazy. I've been making videos now for about a year, and I'm incredibly grateful and appreciative of you that are watching my videos. I'm still shocked when anybody except my friends watch these videos, that strangers would be interested in my life or interested in what I have to say. So thank you for that. But one thing I've discovered is these videos are also cool for me. They're kind of like a diary, and I can see what I've done and what I did. And there's one video that I've watched more than any other, and it's actually not at all a popular video, but it's one of, if not my absolute favorite video. It's the one with a very boring name. It's just about me playing mixed doubles against men's doubles, and it was just a normal club night, and it was just with my friends, and I don't play very well because I was sick, and it's not a special game at all, and therefore there's not many views. There's something I love about this video, because while that video took 15 minutes to shoot and 2 hours to edit, it actually represents 10 years of my life. I could not have made that video if I didn't live the previous 10 years of my life. But to explain why it means so much to me, I have to tell you how I got to China and why I came. I read and follow a lot of travel bloggers and vloggers, and when they talk about the first time that they left home to live in another country, to work in another country, they always talk about the fear that they had and how they had panic attacks and they were second guessing things. And it makes for a really good story, a good hero story, but that wasn't me. I have a wanderlust soul. I have always loved to travel. I hate living in the same place for too long. And coming to China, to me, it wasn't so scary seeming. Maybe because I had a job that would take care of me. Maybe because I also went with at the time, I had a husband. I've just never been scared of travel. I've never been panicked to leave my familiar home and familiar people around. When I came to China, I was just very excited. I thought I would come for 1 year. We actually signed a 6-month contract. So I thought 1 year, the year will go by like that, and I'll just be back in America. So I said to myself, and I was excited to take advantage of living in China for a year. And I didn't want to think about home, and I didn't miss home at all. And I just wanted to kind of live this rich, full life for a year and try these new experiences. And then I'd go back to my so-called real life. I started to get into the groove. We found out where the city was so we could go to the city proper. Not that it was a big city, it was a very small town we were in. No Starbucks, no McDonald's. We had to travel for 2 hours to get butter, but we just lived without butter for a while. And I just kind of got into it, I was very open. I didn't want to say no to anything. I didn't want to miss any experience because I was thinking we just have this 1 year. And then something strange happened. Even though our daily life was quite difficult, even though I couldn't go to a restaurant by myself and order food because there was no English anywhere, no English speakers in the city, I started to feel really comfortable, which is weird because I felt comfortable in a way that I didn't feel in America. This is maybe hard to explain, or maybe even harder for you to understand, but find a seat and I'll try. As American as apple pie. Sure, maybe physically you could mistake me for German or Russian, which is actually my heritage, but the second you talk to me, I'm American. I have a very standard American English. I believe very strongly in freedom and independence and democracy. I think anyone can do anything if they work hard enough, the American dream, baby. But I never really felt I fit in America. I know that's weird for you to maybe hear or understand, because like I'm a white, blonde American. In many ways, I'm the ideal. Yes, a more beautiful version of me is the representative of like the perfect girl, you know, with the perfect life. But that kind of makes it worse because I know I should fit in and I know I should be comfortable like with my own people and in my own place. But I never felt comfortable in America, which I didn't realize until actually I got out. I do feel like I fit in China, which is gonna sound really strange to you. And it is strange. But when I came here, I realized that I'll never fit in. People will always stare at me for the simple fact that I'm blonde and white. I am not Chinese. I can never be Chinese, no matter how long I live here, no matter how good my language skills are. Even if I marry a Chinese guy and have Chinese babies, I will never ever be considered Chinese. And there's something freeing about that. That because I can't fit in, I don't even need to try. And something about America where like not only do I very much fit in, but like I should fit in, it gives me a kind of pressure that I must fit in. So living in China gave me a weird sort of freedom that I didn't have in America. It gave me a freedom to not fit in. It gave me a freedom to not conform to like what society expects of me. And I felt really comfortable, like very quickly living in China. And that freedom, like to be myself and to like be who I want to be regardless of society's expectations, only got bigger once I got divorced in my third year living here in China. Because he was American and we went to the same college and we had similar backgrounds, so he kind of was a part of America that was influencing me. And of course I had the own part within myself that was influencing me. Like for instance, my walk, okay? I have a really stupid walk. I have a very like jaunty, happy walk because I'm a jaunty, happy person. I remember my ex, he used to make fun of me and he'd be like, can you just like walk normal? Because when I walk, I'm kind of like happy. And if I'm listening to music, like happy music, forget about it. I can't keep like the beat out of my walk and I just look really stupid walking. And I felt really stupid. I wanted to walk normal, you know? So I tried to walk less jaunty, you know, kind of walk straighter, so to speak. But sometime after we broke up, I was taking an evening walk. I was listening to my music and I was really into it. I was like doing like hand movements, like jazz hands and stuff. I was totally alone. You know, I looked around. Nobody was on the street. And I remember I was doing something and I was jazz handing and I look over and there was like 4 Chinese people just staring at me. I was like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. I'm so embarrassed. But they just stared at me. And the thing is, living in China, being a foreigner, you get stared at a lot. You get stared at when you're sitting down. You get stared at when you're eating. You get stared at when you're walking. And they were staring at me, but they weren't laughing. They were just staring at me. And at that point, I was very used to the stares. And their stare was not at all different than if I was walking normally. And in that moment, I kind of realized, like, they're gonna stare at me if I'm dancing or if I'm walking. So if I wanna dance, like, why don't I dance? And in that moment, like, expectations of others and expectations of kind of how we behave in American society lifted slightly off my shoulders. And I just kept dancing down the street and I didn't care who saw me because that's how I wanted to move my body at that time. And no one was gonna laugh at me because I was already a weird foreigner for just existing. So if I'm dancing, I'm just the weird foreigner dancing. So for the next couple years after my divorce, I kind of went on like this voyage of discovery about who was I without the expectations of American society or like society in general. I had already clearly failed every society's rules. I was in my late 30s, single, no children, no house, which should be like the most miserable person, right? And yet I was getting happier and happier, and I was finding more and more meaning and experiences in my life. This is the time period where I really buckled down and to learn Chinese so that I could make local Chinese friends, so I could speak fluently. And this is the period where I got out and I just like tried new things. There's a traveler trying new things like, ooh, let's go to a tea ceremony. And then there's a person living life trying new things like, hey, I've never been good at love and I've never had many boyfriends, and now I'm in my like 30s, single, let's try dating. I never did dancing, or I never did like singing at karaoke. And it was like, let's just do it. Like, if I look a little stupid, I look a little stupid, but let's just try it. So the next few years were really big for me. You know, I did things that previously I thought were really stupid. I really thought like drinking and going out to a club all night and dancing, you look like an idiot, you're wasting your money and your time. But I started doing that, and I realized like going out and dancing in a club, sure, you look stupid, but everybody looks stupid, and you just have this like primal release of just like dance and movement, and it's fun, you know? There's a reason why people do it. It is fun. And you learn about different aspects of yourself that I didn't know before, because before I was kind of shy and kind of nerdy, and I just kind of like opened myself up to these new experiences and trying to figure out like who I was. It took me a while. Like, it wasn't just this like moment of enlightenment and my whole personality changed. It took me quite a while. It took me a couple years to really just be able to walk in a club without being drunk and just dance and just talk to strangers and not feel shy and not feel stupid and embarrassed. It's okay to do, you know? Like, it took a long time to give myself permission to do that. But eventually I got there, and eventually I felt okay, like doing stupid things and looking stupid, because I was having such a great time. And then I moved here to Xiamen, and I saw that as a new challenge, because I could be open and try new things in a place that I was comfortable with. In the city that I had lived in first, Lingan, I had lived there for 3 years before I got a divorce, so I knew the buses, I knew the supermarkets, I knew the city was very comfortable to me. I knew how to get a taxi, I knew how to take the bus. So I wanted to go to a new city where I didn't know any of that, by myself, and see, could I still stay so open, or would I kind of like close up and get nervous and be a little too scared? And I think you can guess, it turned out to be quite successful. Moving to Xiamen, I did stay totally open, and I did stay totally willing to like test the boundaries of my shyness and my personality. And I ended up meeting a great group of people. I ended up having a really good time. And eventually, after about a year, I ended up being led to badminton. I was lucky to find my passion, and I was lucky to recognize it. I know like the timing and the place was just right. Maybe if I found it at a different time, I wouldn't have enough time to find a coach, or if I found it at a different place, I wouldn't find a coach that like resonated with me so well, or I just wouldn't have enjoyed it. It'd be different people. I don't know. It was just like right time, right place, and I recognized it as a passion that I was feeling, and I changed my life to follow that passion. And it wasn't easy. Like, physically it wasn't easy, emotionally it wasn't easy, like spiritually, like it's hard to be a 40-year-old athlete, especially when you are someone who has always hated athletics, has always hated any kind of sports, who always hates sweating. It's really hard and very embarrassing to start playing a sport when you're at age 40, because badminton never came easy to me, and it was never natural to me, and I looked like an idiot, and I still look like an idiot. But I had all those experiences the years before of me dancing like an idiot, of me singing like an idiot, of me just walking down the street, you know, jazz hands, listening to music like an idiot. And so I knew that I could look like an idiot, and I knew I could look like an idiot for a long time. So that gave me like the drive and ambition to follow my passion and to go for my goal, no matter how crazy it was. What, like a 40-year-old non-athlete wants to be a top player at badminton in her city, which is like one of the top cities for badminton amateur players in all of China, which is like the top country for badminton. It's a ludicrous goal, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. So now, to get back to the video and why it represents my time in China, Like, I needed those years before I found badminton to try new things and realize that looking stupid and acting an idiot was okay, that it wouldn't ruin my life, that it wouldn't shame me beyond repair. Because if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have started playing badminton in the first place. So when I watch myself playing badminton, that's always in the back of my head. Also, in this video, like, I'm speaking Chinese, and these are the people that know Xiaobing. They don't know Becky, the English teacher. They just know Xiaobing, the foreigner that speaks Chinese. And that took me a long time as well. It took me 4 years before I had my first friend that couldn't speak English. And I'd say it took me about 7 years before I got the confidence to just talk to anybody and to do anything. Language and confidence for me was really hard because learning Chinese, I'm not a natural language learner, and it took me a very long time, and I was really lacking the confidence. Even once I was lacking the skills, like I had a friend that couldn't speak English and we would talk all the time, but I was too nervous to just like talk to everybody and to have a lot of friends that couldn't speak English. It really wasn't until I moved to Xiamen and until I started playing badminton, where I kind of entered this badminton world that was all in the other language, that I got the confidence, because now suddenly everybody that I was interacting with couldn't speak English, not just one person. Badminton, I have to say, gave me the confidence to feel secure in my language Chinese skill. Not that I'm the best, but I'm secure in my level. And also my feeling during this game. I felt totally comfortable and like I totally fit in. When I started playing badminton, I felt very left out because I was a foreigner, because my Chinese was not so good. I wasn't accepted as quickly or easily as other Chinese people were. So I always felt like a bit of an outsider for the first year or two. Also because of my level, because I wasn't as good as they were. So I felt like a burden. They didn't want to play with me, but they had to play with me, and they didn't like it, and they wanted to get the game over quickly and just move on and play with someone else. That's kind of how I felt for maybe the first 2 years. But in this game, in this video, I feel totally comfortable. I'm not worried about that now, especially with those guys that I'm playing with. The two younger guys I have known for years. We know each other very well. We know our style of playing very well. Is it the hardest, most exciting game they've ever played before in their life? No, of course not. But it's fun. They respect me. I respect them. We all know the journey that we've been taking in badminton for the past several years. So there's like a lot of love and respect between us. So I just feel totally comfortable and not at all awkward anymore. And it took me 10 years to get there. So when I watch this video, I see it so clearly. I see how much I've changed in just 10 years. And I know the struggles that I went through, the embarrassment that I went through, the pushing of myself, and the changing of patterns and habits that I used to have. And I just see it so clearly laid out in this video, where I'm comfortable, I'm surrounded by friends, I'm playing badminton at a competent level, and we're all just having fun, and we just enjoy each other, and we just enjoy this passion that we found. And I don't know, something about this video, it just brings it all home for me. But I also know that if I was still in America, I couldn't do this, and I wouldn't be the person I am right now. I think I'm strong, but I'm not strong enough to fight society. And if I stayed in my society and my culture, where the pressure is much more because you understand it and you grew up in it, I don't think I would have the strength or the fortitude to live my unconventional life and to make my unconventional decisions. And because of this, I know in the future, like, if I want something later, I can do it. I know that maybe it won't be easy. I know that I will have trouble, but I also now know that I can trust myself, and I'm gonna do the right thing for myself, not for other people, not for fame and fortune and glory, but I can trust myself because of these past 10 years and where I ended up. I could trust myself moving forward. So all of that emotional baggage, all of those years, all of those challenges is wrapped up in this one badminton video. And I think that's why it's one of my most favorite videos, and one of the ones I really like to watch again and again. It makes, I don't know, Makes me happy.